What are you doing?
Tom, you're home early.
I was calling for you. Didn't you hear me?
Sorry, my mind must have been elsewhere.
Where?
What?
Where? Where did your mind go?
I don't know.
I was in the next room. You must have heard me.
I was distracted, is all.
By what? Is that a letter?
Yes.
For you?
Yes.
From whom? From whom?
I don't know.
Let's have it.
I know it's rubbish. I didn't want to upset you.
This came in the post?
No return address, though.
It says I've tried to warn you before. This isn't the first?
Once before, I burned it. It's just someone at work trying to make you jealous. I imagine you see this sort of thing all the time.
That's work. But bringing a man's wife into it, well, that is just uncalled for. Of course, I hope you weren't too upset.
No, not too much, you
Don't I, though? Do us a favor, Lizzie, and fetch something to eat. I've only got a short while, and then I'm off again.
Another late night?
Crime never sleeps, love.
I would think you boys at Scotland Yard could set the example by keeping regular hours.
An inspector's work is never done.
No, I suppose not.
Whatever we've got is fine.
Sorry?
Supper, Lizzie.
Oh, right. I'll just Alice fix.
No. Why don't you do it yourself?
She's our cook. Her feelings will be hurt.
But I like it better when you do it.
All right, then just give me a minute.
I'll be in the front room then.
All right, dear. Shall I get rid of
No.
that?
I'll take care of this. No, please, I'll pick up.
Mr. Holmes? Mr. Holmes, I'm Superintendent Ellis, sir. I was the one.
Where is she?
Of course. Forgive me, Mr. Holmes. We certainly would have communicated with you sooner if we had any idea.
You
of
have
the paperwork. Here, sir. You will see, Mr. Holmes, that per your request, her real name is not appear anywhere. She was a Jane Bloggs when she came to us, and shall remain so for as long as you require it. How long will you require it? I see. That is quite a lot of time, I assure you. I'm certain, Mr. Holmes, that you wish to take her into your own custody. I ask only because, well, it became necessary to restrain her. For her own safety, sir. If you read the police report, you'd know she put up quite a struggle when she was first detained.
I'm not surprised.
And since she's been here, well, perhaps you're aware that she grows quite agitated if someone gets too close to her. We had a minor incident. The straitjacket was intended to prevent any further disturbances.
A straitjacket? And she kept it on? How unusually helpful of her.
Helpful, Mr. Holmes?
Indeed. Mere straitjacket is no restraint for her whatsoever. And if she remained confined after you placed her in one, then she did so of her own free will, for her own reasons. Ah, here we are.
Oh, hello.
Explain these bruises.
Guys, it's that, sir.
Take them back straight. Now.
See you soon, sweetheart.
Enough. Are you quite finished?
Just a moment. There we are. Shall we go, Mycroft?
Come along, Sherlock. This time. That's a record, I believe. What exactly were you trying to accomplish this time? Do you even recall where you were when the police came? You broke a young man's arm. I assume he tried to touch you. I fail to see how these so-called clients of yours could possibly be worth all this trouble. You know, you could avoid situations like this if you stayed with people who were aware of your requirements. I wish I knew why you hated me so.
Don't be melodramatic, Mycroft.
I can't see how else to interpret your behavior. There must be some reason for the outburst.
My reasons are my own.
Sherlock, I can't keep doing this. You know my situation. My work with the
Don't
government
mince words, you are the government.
My work with the government requires a degree of discretion which is difficult to maintain when I have to drop everything to hunt you down, cover your tracks, and repair whatever damage may have caused whenever you're going off one of your tantrums.
I'm not a child, Mycroft.
Alas, no. If you were, explaining your behavior would be far easier and far less expensive.
What, is that all I am to you, a business expense?
Surely you weren't expecting sentiment.
Of course not, Mycroft. Don't be vulgar.
Then let me make one thing quite plain. I will not let you undermine my work. If you will not conform to the standards expected of you, I am prepared to take drastic measures.
What, back to the asylum again?
I would be well within my rights.
When will you learn that escaping from such a place poses no challenge for me?
It might, if I advise them on the best methods of keeping you contained.
You wouldn't.
Oh, so you do expect some sentiment after all? I thought we were both above such trivial qualities. How disappointing. Does it hurt?
Just take me home, Mycroft. Please.
I imagine Mrs. Hudson will have a thing or two to say
I
about
will
your
deal with
appearance.
Mrs. Hudson.
You might want to have someone look at it just in case.
Thank you for your concern, Mycroft. I will speak with Dr. Anderson.
Anderson, one of those women doctors from that school.
You know perfectly well who she is.
Suit yourself. Driver, change of plans. We won't be returning my sister Baker Street. Take us to the Royal Free Hospital.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, bloody buttering bollocks!
Oh, I got that, sir.
You say what?
Sorry. Dr. Watson, I know how particular you are about that. Bad day, is it?
Why, Dr. Stanford, what on earth would possibly give you that idea? Yes, Michael, it is a bad day. Pray pardon my unladylike outburst. Just bollocks!
May I ask?
Sepsis. An infection after an abdominal hysterectomy.
I see. And your patient?
Would probably have been fine if anyone told her to come in at the first sign of a fever, but by the time they finally got her here, most of her colon and small intestine was necrotic, and most of her lungs were riddled with infected tissue.
Why on earth did she come in right
Well,
away?
she couldn't come in right away, see? Because her husband would have been cross if he had come home from work trying to bomb from the house. Mrs. Perkwood. That was her name.
Well, that is unfortunate, but I expect you must see a lot of that sort of thing here.
Yes, Michael. I see quite a lot of that sort of thing here.
I see. I think perhaps I've come at a bad time. Perhaps I should...
What is that?
Oh, just a book. The Fell Travels by D.W. Graham.
You're reading D.W. Graham. Well, you surprise me, Michael. I wouldn't have taken you for a fan of novels about young women studying medicine.
Yes, well, you know, Mother read it. Said she thought I'd learned something from it. Not sure why, though. Rather silly stuff, to be quite honest.
Oh. Well, I'm afraid I can't talk long.
come to me.
If I needed? Did you even read the letter?
Read Mother's correspondence? Don't be silly.
What exactly did she tell you?
Just that you'd written in something about needing money. Makes sense, that awful boarding house you live in. Look, all I'm trying to say is that I understand how hard it can be for a woman in your position. With your parents gone, and that unfortunate business with your brother.
I'm not comfortable having this conversation with you.
She only wants what's best for you, as I do.
The money wasn't even for me. I was hoping she'd make a donation to the school.
The school? Oh, yes, well I can see why you might need. Anyway, I have a counteroffer.
Oh?
Yes, I wish to renew my proposal.
What proposal? Michael, you can't mean...
I do.
That was 8 years ago.
9 almost.
That was before I left for Edinburgh.
Yes.
I thought you were joking. You said you were joking.
No, you said I was joking, and I agreed because it was less embarrassing that way. But wait, let me do this properly.
Please don't.
Dorothy Watson, I asked you once before, and now I ask again. Will you marry me?
Dr. Stanford. Couldn't we do this somewhere in private?
It wouldn't be proper, sure. I'll admit a hallway to a place like the World Free is not quite ideal, but it's becoming damn difficult to find you any place else.
I don't know what to say.
Bear in mind, the offer has improved quite a bit in some time. I have a proper practice now, good income. You won't need to work.
And what would I do instead?
I run the house, of course.
Run the house. Michael, look at me!
Yes, precisely. I'm offering you a chance to put all this unpleasantness behind you.
What about this picture makes you think I'd give it all up and run your house instead?
I believe many women would jump at the chance.
Then why don't you ask one of them?
Dorothy, be realistic. This can't go on forever. Have you heard what people say about this place?
I'm quite aware of what is said about this place.
Look, obviously this was the wrong time to broach the subject. I just ask that you take a moment to consider it. I don't expect an answer right away. I've waited 8 years.
Almost 9.
I suppose I could wait a little longer. But not forever. We know the breasts are growing younger after all.
No. No, we're not. Dr. Watson, I wonder if I might... Dr. Anderson, forgive me. Dr. Stanford was just leaving.
Yes, but I really should be getting back now. I do hope we can resume this conversation soon.
I will think about what you've said. Good day, Dr. Stanford.
Dorothy, Dr. Anderson, good day.
Well, that was painfully awkward. I'm so glad to have witnessed it. He's offering to rescue me from this place by marrying. Better women than you have been enticed by just such a proposition. Would you be? I'm not the one looking for a way out. No, that's not it at all. It's just Mrs. Pertwee died on that table today because she was too afraid of what Mr. Pertwee would do if things weren't to his liking when he got home. And she is hardly the first. I'm aware. Shouldn't we be doing something about that? And what exactly did you have in mind? I wish I knew. This is the London School of Medicine for Women, the only school of its kind in all of England. We should be making a difference. Aren't we? I don't know. Is something wrong, Doctor? Will you accompany me, Dr. Watson? I have a patient waiting for me that I would quite like your opinion on. You want my opinion? Yes, of course, Dr. Anderson. Well, then let's get you cleaned up and follow me. Fascinating. Dr. Anderson, taste this and tell me if you detect a hint of eucalyptus. Thank you, Miss Holmes, but I'm afraid I refrain from masticating stationery, and I'm quite sure I could not identify the taste of eucalyptus anyway. Then I shall require a palate cleanser lest I contaminate the sample. Miss Holmes, I would like to introduce you to my colleague, Dr. Dorothy Watson. How do you do? Miss Holmes, is it? Byrne. I beg studied, or rather where you completed your studies, which began in Edinburgh.
Yes, that's
And now you
correct.
find yourself in a spot of trouble. The exact nature of it eludes me for the moment, but keep talking.
Wait, did you discuss me before?
I assure you, I have never mentioned you to her before this moment. I just thought it might be good for the two of you to meet. Call it a hunch. Miss Holmes, I leave you in the very capable hands of Dr. Watson. You see, she's romantic, and I think you'll get along splendidly. Well, it was lovely to meet you again. Wait, but what? Shall we proceed then? Very well. That is quite a black eye. I may ask how it happened? An orderly at Beckham Royal Hospital shoved my face into a wall.
I see. And did he have any reason to do that?
Technically, such behavior is outside the purview of his position. That said, it's somewhat understandable in that it was a response to my striking him with a closed fist.
Ah, and did you have any reason to do that?
I did.
May I see your hand? Does this hurt?
Oh, yes.
Miss Holmes, these bruises are consistent with those of a trained boxer after a
I'm
match.
glad to hear it. I've read many books on the subject, but rarely is one afforded the opportunity of a practical application of the technique.
Well, you only hit him once, yes? No broken bones in your hand, which means your technique is admirable, but these bruises tell me you aim for the eye, where the bones are particularly hard. Might I suggest something softer, like the nose or lower jaw?
A blackened eye sends an effective message, don't you think?
A black eye is just a bruise. The number of hands I see broken while causing black eyes makes me wonder who is receiving the message.
Intriguing.
Can you look up for me? Any vision trouble since this happened?
None.
Any pain?
Some, not as much as the hand.
Right. Well, the discoloration is consistent with a simple periorbital hematoma. I don't see any injury to the eye itself, and if the pain is beginning to subside, then I don't believe you've broken anything.
And your recommendation for treatment?
Cold compresses for 2 days and then warm compresses after that. Provided you can avoid any more altercations. You should be back to normal in a week or two.
Thank you, Dr. Watson.
Is there anything else?
I have not yet determined Dr. Anderson's reason for introducing us.
Must she have some ulterior motive?
You're not the first woman the good doctor has brought to my attention, though you are certainly the first colleague.
Dr. Anderson consults you regarding her patients?
Not exactly. Some women have trouble that cannot be helped by a doctor. Sometimes they find themselves with problems or concerns that cannot be addressed through customary means. When that happens, they come to me.
Well, and who are you exactly?
I am Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock? Oh, that's an unusual name, if you don't mind my saying. I don't recall ever meeting any men named Sherlock, but I'm certain I've never met any woman.
Indeed, you haven't.
Right. Well, I'm sorry I cannot satisfy your curiosity any further, Miss Holmes, but I'm afraid my troubles are of the most mundane.
I should like to hear more about them nonetheless. Would you do me the courtesy of visiting me at my home?
Miss Holmes,
You're
you
now
might-
trying to think of a prior engagement or responsibility that prevents you from visiting me, but let me put it to you this way. Do you respect Dr. Anderson?
She was the first woman to receive a medical license in all of Great Britain. She's a gifted doctor, of course. I respect her.
Yes. And when I presented myself to her with injuries sustained in a fist fight at an insane asylum, her first thought was to introduce me to you. Aren't you at least curious to find out why?
No. What's the address?
Baker Street, number 221B. I'm looking forward to it.
Calling in tonight then, eh, Geoffrey?
I am. Good night.
Oh, come on then, no need to be uncivil.
Was I? Well, then I do apologize.
No worries. Home to the wife then.
Not married, Tom.
You should try it. Complete life.
So I will. Your life must be very complete indeed.
Did you... Lestrade just made a joke. Did you... Look at Lestrade, look at jokes in that. Yes, well... Third time's the charm, they say. Oh, hey, Lestrade. Me and Edwin here are going up round Jimmy's tonight. You should join us.
I don't think so.
Come on, if you keep playing it straight like this, then, well, you're going to start making fellows nervous around here.
What fellows have reason to be nervous? Not you, Tom Chapman, I'm sure. I'm no internal affairs rep, and you will. Who among us at the yard can afford a spot from this job?
Careful, Geoffrey. You got one good laugh in. Don't start thinking you're a comedian.
Wouldn't dream of it. You and Mr. Gruner have a good night.
Oh, Geoffrey, look. I just want to say, no hard feelings, right? You were just doing your job. I get that.
I'll just tell you this.
I mean, to be honest, I'm glad it was you. No one could say I rigged the game with Geoffrey Lestrade in the case. You're a king. You're a credit to the yard, more.
Are you done, Tom?
Yes, I'm done. What about you? Are you done, Inspector Lestrade?
Case is closed. There's nothing I can do about it now.
That's right.
That doesn't mean I was wrong, though.
See? That's where you're mistaken, mate. That's exactly what it means.
Yes, Tom. You're as clean as what the court's willing to prove.
You know what, Geoffrey? Maybe you had the right idea after all. You should just head on home to your no-wife. And while you're sitting there, all alone in your cheap rented room in Chelsea, you might just want to ask yourself if you're cut out for this line of work. Smart fellow such as yourself. All sorts of things you might do. Sky's the limit. Let's go.
What do you want? You better run along, Mr. Greener. Thomas Chapman doesn't take kindly to lackeys who ignore his instructions. Hey, go boy, fetch!
Mrs. Hudson!
Oh! Oh, who on earth is that? Did you invite someone to tea? Now tell me. Who put this here? Leaving things everywhere. Guests coming unannounced. Honestly! It's no trouble. Not at all. But at least you could warn me. 3, 2, 1. Miss Sherlock, I do not think this is funny.
Funny, Mrs. Hudson.
There's a person downstairs who claims to be a doctor.
Yes.
This person claims to be your doctor.
And?
And this person is a woman, Miss Sherlock.
Yes, surely you're aware that such things exist nowadays.
I refuse to believe it. Surely we've not become so
The
uncivilized.
barbarians are at the gate, Mrs. Hudson. Thank you, Mrs. Hudson. That will do. Dr. Watson, please come in.
Oh! Have I done something to upset her?
Mrs. Hudson is not quite prepared for an age in which we women folk indulge our eccentric longing for the will-o'-the-wisp pleasures of independence.
I see. Well, that black eye is here quite nicely. The compress's work then?
Indeed. Would you believe Mrs. Hudson wanted me to put raw meat on it?
Well, I'm just glad to see you're feeling better. I'm sorry I wasn't able to take you up on your invitation sooner. Between the hospital and school, I've been rather occupied of late.
That's quite all right. Gave you time to investigate the hypothesis. I just finished reading your novel, Mr. Graham. Mr. Graham. D.W. Graham, that's your pen name.
How did
I
you...
generally have chemicals about and occasionally do experiments. Would that annoy you?
How would that annoy
I
you?
sometimes seem sullen and don't open my mouth for days on end. Mrs. Hudson thinks I'm sulking, but usually I want to be left alone, and soon enough I'll be fine. Now, what are you to confess?
Confess?
I have long enough to know the worst of one another if we're going to be living together.
Living together? Who said anything about living together?
Well, I thought it the most logical solution.
Solution to what?
There's no need to decide right away. Let us see what she has to say, and then discuss it afterwards.
She?
Ah, right on time.
Now who can it possibly be? Oh! Really? People tramping in and about at all hours. I wish I know when I let these rooms I was opening a train station! May I ask whom we're expecting this afternoon?
A woman, young, rather pretty, who dresses so much better than her accent might lead you to believe. She has a serious matter weighing on her, but puts great effort into affecting an air of nonchalance. Or so I am informed.
Mrs. Elizabeth Chapman for you, Miss Holmes.
Mrs. Chapman, how do you do?
I'm sorry to disturb you. I hope I won't take up too much of your time.
Not at all.
Thank you, Mrs. Hudson.
Mrs. Chapman, this is Dr. Dorothy Watson.
Hello.
How do you do?
Well, thank you.
I don't believe that to be the case, Mrs. Chapman. I gather your visit has something to do with your husband.
Why do you say that?
The skin on your finger near your wedding ring is red. You have been worrying at it.
Yes. My husband is Thomas Chapman.
Scotland Yard.
Yes. You've heard of him.
His name has appeared in the papers.
Someone has been sending me letters. At first I thought it nothing, but they keep coming.
The provenance of the paper is inconclusive. Common stock, widely used. The letter itself was typewritten using a Scholes ink machine. Again, rather common. But the author was not skilled at its operation. Several common errors in spelling uncorrected, and you can see 2 instances where the carriage jammed and the author left the space blank rather than retype the correct letter.
Why on earth would you know that?
Dr. Watson, would you be so good as to read the letter aloud for me? We'll go on.
Mrs. Chapman, this is my 3rd attempt to warn you. I can only hope my messages have not come too late. I'm certain you know that you are not the first to bear that name and title. Before you, Catherine Featherstone had the misfortune to be married to the man you now call husband. Please know that Thomas Chapman is not the man he claims to be. By now I'm sure he has told you what has happened to Catherine. Do not believe him. Catherine Featherstone was not the first to suffer by his hand. I pray that by my warning she will be the last. Signed, a friend.
Fascinating.
I've heard you spoken of before, Miss Holmes. I understand you're known to help women find themselves in difficult spots.
Mrs. Chapman, who do you suppose wrote this letter?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
Have you any reason to believe the contents of this letter to be true?
No, none whatsoever.
There must be something, Mrs. Chapman. This is the 3rd letter you've received. Why haven't you shown this to your husband?
I showed him the last one, but that was 2 weeks ago. He said he'd take care of it. This one just arrived the other day. I didn't want to trouble him with it. He does such important work for Scotland Yard.
So instead you brought it to me. Please remember, I have heard of your husband before. I'm a voracious reader of the newspaper.
Then you know what has been said about him.
I know that Thomas Chapman is considered by many to be the most efficient investigator in the Metropolitan Police Force. I know he has the highest arrest record of Scotland Yard. I know that he has been investigated more than once on suspicions of corruption and brutality, but has never been convicted. And I know he's been married 3 times, most recently to one Elizabeth Durham. Now you, Mrs. Chapman, not 2 months after his theatre of any wrongdoing, the death of his second wife, Catherine Featherstone, who drowned in a pool in Hampstead Heath. He married her 2 years after his first wife, Margaret Cleary, died in a fall from a horse. Who had that right to come? You want me to tell you that you have nothing to fear. You want me to tell you that this letter is nothing more than a harmless prank, inspired by petty jealousy. You want me to tell you to go home to your husband. My husband is a good man.
Those are lovely shoes, Mrs. Chapman. Very high quality, very expensive.
You would not expect to see them on the feet of your average policeman's wife. But then again, your husband is not your average policeman, is he? All I want to know is who wrote this letter. Now, are you going to help me or aren't you? If you want my advice, you should find a relative, someone away from the city, and pay them a visit. I should go. I'm sorry. It's rude. I've made a mistake.
Will let me look
No, thank you. I can see myself up. Good day. Mrs. Chapman. Be careful. Well, that was fascinating.
Miss Holmes, what on earth just happened? Why did you say such horrible things to that poor woman?
I told you the truth. What is so horrible about that?
How could you possibly know anything about her husband?
Oh, him. Inspector Chapman has been mentioned 12 times. First, there were 4 articles that reported on his police brutality, specifically an article involving controversial interrogation tactics. He was mentioned twice regarding his marriage to Mrs. Chapman, and 3 more times regarding his arrests. And then there was the death of Captain Featherstone. There were 3 articles that reported on this event. The first simply reported that it happened and that an investigation was underway. The second, that a coroner's jury had been convened. The third was my favorite. The third article informed the public that Thomas Chapman had been cleared of any wrongdoing. But when the press asked the inspecting officer for a statement, he refused to comment.
Why is that significant?
Isn't it obvious?
It is not.
He refused to comment.
I can think of few phrases that appear more frequently in the newspaper.
Okay. The police had just exonerated one of their own. Under normal circumstances, they would trumpet such a victory to the world with great fanfare and celebration. But in this case, the inspecting officer refused to comment. That means something and possibly something else. It definitely means that there are details of this case still hidden from the public eye. And it probably means that the inspecting officer does not agree with the case's official conclusion.
There is a third option. He might not care.
Oh, no, not this one. I follow his cases with great interest. Inspector Lestrade is the best of the professionals.
Well, then why don't you refer Mrs. Chapman to him?
I intend to. But Lestrade's abilities in this case are hampered by the protective web Thomas Chapman has spun around himself. All Mrs. Chapman can do is add to Lestrade's suspicions. We must provide evidence.
We must provide evidence.
Who else?
Someone more qualified?
There is no such person. Mrs. Hudson will be stepping out now.
What? You're leaving?
Oh, are you not coming with me?
Coming with you? Where? This is all moving rather quickly.
This is what I do, Doctor. I observe, I induce, I investigate, I diagnose, and I prescribe.
And you want me to come with you?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I do. I assure you I'm just as surprised as you.
Well, she was quite plain she doesn't want your help. Why would you continue in spite of that?
Mrs. Chapman lied to us.
She what?
Didn't you notice right from the beginning? When I asked her if she had any idea who wrote that letter, she insisted she had none. She lied to us then.
How do you know that?
The same way I knew you studied medicine in Bern and paid for your education by studying the red novels and were less than self-dependent.
Explain yourself, if you please.
I saw, I smelled, and I deduced.
You smelled.
You are a licensed medical doctor practicing in London. Your demeanor and your association with Elizabeth Garrett Anderson tell me you have some skill and some experience, but England only started issuing licenses to students 4 years ago. So, while you were able to complete the bulk of your studies in Edinburgh, you'd have had to travel abroad to receive your degree. When you first entered the examining room, I detected a scent of chlorine. You had just washed your hands using a technique favored by continental institutions, particularly those in Austria, Germany, and Switzerland. And I could plainly see the chain of your watch. a common brand associated with Antoine Lachard of Geneva, the medical school located closest to Geneva, and which accepts international students, is in Bern.
I see. And the writing?
You have no family to speak of, but managed to complete your education over an extended period of time. There are no scholarships available to women, so the funds for your education must have come from somewhere. Then there were the words Dr. Anderson spoke when we first met. Recall?
She's romantic, this one. But I didn't think that's what she was talking about.
It was only a hunch. But a survey of book reviews from the last several years revealed the existence of a medical author focused only on medical students, and who wrote under an obvious nom de plume. Writers who employ initials rather than complete names are often concealing something. Most of the time, that thing is the fact that the author is a woman. And honestly, DW,
Oh, all right then. Answer my question for me. Is this what you do? Is it safe?
Dr. Watson, tell me truly, when was the last time you ever felt safe?
Where are we going?
Regarding the authorship of Mrs. Chapman's note, I believe I have a hypothesis of my own. The first step is to pay a call on Mrs. Eudora Featherstone. Forgive me, Holmes.
What is it, Peggy?
Miss Sherlock Holmes is here to see.
Miss what?
That is her name.
Eudora is not receiving visitors right now.
Yes, I understand. But, Moon, are you really
Did
thinking...
you not hear me, Peggy?
I am quite capable of speaking for myself, Reginald.
Then what is it, Peggy?
She said it was about Miss Catherine. Moon, something about an investigation.
Now, this is just in bad taste.
Show it in.
Are you sure, Auntie? I would hate for anything to upset you.
Thank you, Reginald.
Mrs. Eudora Featherstone, I presume.
She is. I am her nephew, Reginald. What sort of a name is Sherlock Holmes?
An unusual one. May I introduce my companion, Dr. Dorothy Watson? How do you do?
You said this had something to do with her daughter, Catherine?
I did. And may I say, Mrs. Featherstone, we are both deeply sorry for your loss.
I don't believe either of you were acquainted with her.
You see, I don't know why you told me to say such a thing. It was entirely...
And nevertheless, Mrs. Featherstone, please accept your condolences. I cannot imagine the trial which must have been for you. No, and I hope for your sake that you never can. My daughter was a light into it. And now all is shrouded in darkness. Yes, ma'am. To die in such a way. I shudder to think.
You said there was some nonsense about an investigation. There has already been an investigation, pointless as it was. Tell me, has the inspector with funny French name found some reason to reopen the case?
Not exactly. We are acting at the behest of Mrs. Elizabeth Chapman.
I don't believe I understand.
You do know who Elizabeth Chapman is, yes?
I do.
She has asked us to look into certain allegations surrounding her husband, specifically concerning your daughter, Catherine.
She has asked you.
She has.
And who are you again?
Oh, enough of this, good Lord! Explain yourselves and be paid!
Mrs. Featherstone, we understand this is unusual. I can assure you no one here wonders what on earth we're doing here more than myself. But the fact is that Mrs. Chapman received an anonymous note alleging that her husband poses a threat. I have no doubt he does. That poor girl.
Do you harbor such concerns yourself?
I am certain that what befell my Catherine was no instinct.
But Mrs. Featherstone, you are of course aware that the coroner's jury determined there was no foul play.
Nonsense! It determined there was no foul play committed by Thomas Chapman. A conclusion which I regard as highly suspect in and of itself.
And why is that?
Had Scotland Yard not been protecting one of their own, the truth might have come out. My daughter Catherine was the sweetest, kindest girl that ever lived. She would never have done
done anything so vulgar as to attend a public bath. And why would anyone be at such a place at that time of night?
So then why would the jury conclude otherwise?
Why, indeed? Alas, the record of the hearing has been sealed. If not, I believe we might see a full account of whom Thomas Chapman calls his friends.
Ah, so you think Thomas Chapman somehow managed to fix the outcome of the coroner's jury?
Would such a thing surprise you? He has been accused of far worse in the newspapers. But of course, Thomas Chapman read it too.
Oh, now
And what makes you say that, Mrs. Featherstone?
You believe my Catherine was the first?
Well, we know Thomas Chapman had a previous wife, and are you next?
Speaking. I am not speaking. This goes far beyond her. My daughter, or Thomas Chapman, of Scotland Yard. Something sinister has been loosened upon me. None of you are safe.
Mrs. Featherstone, do you know who wrote this letter? Did you send it to Mrs. Chapman?
I did not. But I think God's in the point. I only wish someone had done the same for my Catherine.
Thank you for your time, Mrs. Featherstone. We are truly sorry for your loss.
You did not know her. No one knows anyone.
Now, I think that you two have done enough. Peggy, come and see these people to the door. I will tend to Mrs. Featherstone.
I'm sorry we upset her. May I ask if she began using laudanum before or after her daughter's death?
How did you know that?
Her emotional state is a sign of dysphoria. It's a common side effect.
Miss Featherstone has not been well for some time, but the shock of Catherine's death has made things a great deal worse.
In what way?
Well, it's all these talk of conspiracies and whatnot. Named she has the spirit of water. You know the poor Catherine drowned, yes? Since then, Miss Featherstone cannot bring herself to be near a bath. A damp towel is the best she can manage.
Her nephew arrived shortly after Catherine's death, I assume.
I'd never even heard of him before the funeral. With Catherine gone, though, he stands to inherit a lot of Miss Featherstone's money.
The money isn't guaranteed, I take it.
No, he's petrified to change her will.
Well, doesn't he sound delightful?
You'll have to excuse me, Miss Holmes. I'm to clean the floor today. Miss Featherstone may be clear about some things, but when judging the housekeeping, she is meticulous.
Thank you, Peggy. We will see ourselves out.
Bless you, Miss Holmes. I don't know if I understand half of what Miss Featherstone talks about these days, but if there's anything to be learned about what happened to poor Catherine, I hope you can bring a little peace to this house.
Fascinating. Fascinating. You think upsetting an elderly, grieving woman is fascinating?
Oh, didn't you think so?
No, I did not. Mrs. Featherstone is clearly suffering from the long-term effects of her laudanum dependence. She probably doesn't even remember writing the note in the first place.
She didn't write a note.
That woman has never operated a typewriter in her life.
And how do you know that?
Didn't you get a good look at her hands? Anyway, that's not important. We witnessed a particularly lucid moment. Didn't you hear it? No, I did not. The jury. The coroner's jury?
Thomas Chapman somehow managed to fix the outcome.
So you find that credible? Shall we also look into the conspiracy that goes beyond Scotland Yard?
No need to be facetious.
Well, what makes you believe this? Of all the things that poor woman said. There's the one thing she wasn't sure of. We must find out what happened at that hearing. No, we must not. I assume those are kept secret for a reason.
Oh, yes.
In point of fact, the records of coroner's juries are not kept sealed unless it is specifically requested. So who requested it? And why? Good question. Why don't you go ask Inspector Lestrade? That is exactly what I intend to do. You know, I was just being facetious. Just then. That does not negate the validity of your suggestion. So Scotland Yard, then? Where else?
Besides, have you ever noticed the way people's walking patterns alter in the vicinity of the police station? Take this fellow. Watch how his back straightens, and his gait takes on a careful, measured rhythm. Might as well carry a placard that reads, "Upstanding citizen, nothing to see here," it would be equally convincing. Well, that's rather cynical. Is it? I make no judgment. He may very well live his life according to the highest of moral standards, yet the behavior remains consistent. We live in a world that would have us believe that no matter how hard we try to live proper lives, deep down we must surely all be guilty of something. Original sin. That rarely turns out to be the case. Here's our man. Good evening, Inspector. My name is Sherlock Holmes. This is Dr. Dorothy Watson. I'm very happy to finally make your acquaintance.
Hello, your name is what?
I have followed your work for some time, and I must say that compared to some of your colleagues at Scotland Yard, you are by far the closest thing to what one might call competent.
Thank you.
I was hoping you might spare a few moments so we might discuss one of your cases. Inspector Chapman. You are familiar with the name?
Who are you?
I am Sherlock Holmes, Dr. Watson, and I'm...
No, who are you? Is this some sort of joke?
I never make jokes. We are here on behalf of his wife.
His wife? Thomas Chapman's wife?
She has asked us to investigate certain rumors surrounding her husband. We are specifically interested...
Wait, just, what? Did she say you were a doctor?
I am a doctor, yes.
And you are some sort of... Well, what are you?
I am interested in the coroner's jury that investigated the death of Inspector Chapman's previous wife, Catherine. We understand a motion was allowed to keep the records of the proceedings sealed.
For the love of... Keep your voice down, would you?
Who requested the motion?
Look, I don't know who you think you are, and I don't know what you think you are doing. But this is no business for a woman to go mucking about. Well, I do think you ladies, for your interest in this investigation, I cannot in good conscience allow you to continue with this private little inquiry of yours. It's too dangerous.
I don't see how it would be any less dangerous for you than it would be for us.
Miss Holmes, I'm a police officer. This is my job. You are...
We are what, Inspector?
You, Miss Holmes, are the strangest young woman I have ever met in my line of work that is actually saying something.
Is that what you have us tell Mrs. Chapman?
If you really are a doctor, then talk some sense into your friend here.
Why did you refuse to comment?
What?
In the Times, in the article about the outcome of the coroner's jury, you refused to comment. I'd like to know why. Because you knew Thomas Chapman had gotten away with it. And you could not stomach it, could you? Because you know what kind of man he really is. If only you had the evidence you needed. Please, Inspector, how long have you wanted to tell your side? Consider it therapeutic.
I cannot talk here.
Come to us tomorrow, then. 221B Baker Street.
Just talk, right? I don't want to find out you two have been snooping around crime scenes.
I am scandalized to even hear you mention the idea.
It's getting late. Why don't I find you two ladies a cab to take you home?
That would be splendid. Thank you, Inspector. You have concerns? Why did Mrs. Chapman come to see you? No clever answers, please. Just explain it to me. Very well. When I was 17, a friend of my father's arranged for his daughter to marry a wealthy merchant. The daughter was afraid of the merchant for reasons she was unable to articulate. While meeting this man for myself, it took me about 10 minutes observation to deduce that this man had been a criminal sentenced to transportation, but a mistake and assumed a false identity. We were seated for dinner when I made my observations known. I recall the hush that fell over the table. My parents were mortified, of course, but one by one, the stares shifted from me to the merchant. He rose from his chair, calm as if he had intended to propose a toast. He cleared his throat, brushed an imaginary imperfection from his jacket, and then he sprinted from the room.
Good night, ladies.
Until tomorrow, Inspector. Deputy is safe in his offices. The woman who escaped a shameful marriage was ever so grateful, and not long after, she sent an acquaintance to me with a similar problem. Soon I developed something of a reputation. Now when women have problems or concerns that cannot be addressed through customary means, they come to me for assistance. I believe I provide a necessary service, if an unconventional one.
And it is in this service that you find yourself brawling with orderlies at Bedlam.
Only very occasionally. I was 14. The first time I found myself in such a place was at my mother's insistence. She thought that my fondness for reading and studying the physical world caused me undue stress.
Well, why would she think that?
Perhaps you've heard of the Alsatian wolf dog, the new German breed. They are said to be the smartest dogs ever bred. Some say they can understand nearly 1,000 different words, but there have been problems, issues with temperament as the dogs grow older. And can you blame the poor beasts? Imagine having a wealth of language and a desire to communicate, but simply lacking the physical capacity to speak the words you wish to say. You do not rage and bite, you do not go mad, one must find some form of release. When I returned home, my father took one look at me and swore that I would never again be subjected to such treatment. But soon, both mother and father would be gone, and I would become my brother's problem.
Your brother? Surely he'd have some concern for your safety at least.
My plot is not malicious, no, but concern is not a faculty with which he has been burdened. He places nothing ahead of his work. Threat of institutionalization looms omnipresent.
That's horrible.
But within his rights.
Can all of this be worth the risk?
Yes. That said, I have from time to time thought that a companion might be a useful thing to have. Someone who might remind me now and then when my activities skirt the edge of common sense.
A companion?
In fact, I mentioned this to Dr. Anderson once. The next time I saw her, she introduced me to you.
You want me to, what, be your caretaker?
Not exactly. I rather thought it might be mutually beneficial for the two of us to be friends. And to that extent, I thought I might offer you the use of the spare room at Baker Street. I deduced a degree of dissatisfaction with the current living arrangement. It is 4 to 3 minutes walk from the Royal Free Hospital. It is already furnished, and there would be no
You do not need to bribe me.
Forgive me. I had many acquaintances, but I had never quite mastered the process of converting an acquaintance into friendship.
Should I expect adventures like this to be a regular
Well, I
occurrence?
certainly hope so.
A pair of women running around London questioning police officers about murders and the like. There will be consequences for both of us.
And that is precisely why I need you with me, to remind me of that very thing. Of course, I understand if you want to accept the gentleman's proposal.
The gentleman? What? What was it? My hair? My voice? The way I'm dressed? What?
Dr. Anderson told me.
Bloody hell.
Yes. His name is Michael. And I am fond of him. His family and I have been friends for a long time. His mother was particularly kind to me during some difficult times. He is very successful. My life would be very safe and secure, which is something I've always wanted to try. I could be quite content. But it would also be very ordinary.
I believe this is you.
So it is. I've an early shift tomorrow. I'll come by Baker Street after to hear what Inspector Lestrade has to say. We'll discuss it more then.
Very well. Good night, Watson.
Good night, Sherlock. Get home safe.
On to Baker Street. want? Where's my mate? Where's Reginald?
You know why I'm here?
I'm sure I have no idea.
No? Are you certain? You haven't been writing any letters, have you?
I have not. But I thank God someone is.
Oh. So you know about it then? And where did you hear it?
Why don't you ask your wife? She sent them.
My wife? Sent who? Knows what, ma'am?
Get out of here.
Did someone come to see you? What did you say to them?
Nothing I haven't said before. I am not afraid of you!
Well, I don't need you to be afraid of me. I just need you to believe me when I tell you that if you do not shut your bloody mouth, I will shut it for you. You believe that, don't you?
You cannot hurt me.
Right. You think that after all you've suffered, you're immune now. But I can tell you, and I've had some experience with this, you are not. Whatever pain you've endured in the past, there is always room for more. But neither of us wants that. So you just keep your mad ideas to yourself. You hear me? Because that's all anyone thinks it is. Madness. Good to see you again, Eudora.
That won't be necessary. Greetings, Miss Watson.
Who are you?
My name is Mycroft Holmes. Might I have a word?
You're Sherlock's brother.
I wish to ask you a few questions relating to your connection to my sister.
And you thought it best to do so by surprising me on a dark street at night.
I need to speak with you right away, so I went to the place I knew you would be.
By God, you're Sherlock's brother.
I understand she offered you a spare room. I wish to know if you intend to accept her offer.
And what business is it of yours exactly?
I'd like to know my tenants.
The flat belongs to you then.
You won't find my name on any documents relating to it, if that's what you mean, but yes, I provide the means to allow Sherlock to reside here.
Well, and to answer your question, I've not yet made up my mind regarding her offer.
I should like you to accept it.
You would? On what basis?
She likes you.
And I am rather fond of her as well.
She doesn't like anyone.
I see.
I assure you that you do not. But you will. Now, Sherlock has offered you her room rent-free. I can agree to those terms on one condition.
Of course.
You will keep Sherlock out of trouble. It sounds simple. It is not. You will keep me apprised of where she goes, what she does, what piques her interest. You'll be thorough. You'll be discreet. I expect to hear from you on a regular basis. Do you have any questions?
Is she to trust me?
I should hope so.
Even as I report on her every move.
It is not the spine to a chill gent. She'll try to talk you into doing things against her better judgment. She never listens to her own common sense, so you'll have to do that for both of you.
She said essentially the same thing.
It'll go a long way to improve your situation.
And what would you know of my situation?
I know your father made a living as a tutor of classical literature and died when you were 17 years old, leaving your family penniless. I know you enrolled at the University of Edinburgh, against your mother's express wishes. I know you subsidized your education by publishing a novel under the pen name D.W. Graham, while sales of the book provided adequate enough, modest enough living during your studies. You find yourself burdened by the cost incurred after the death of your mother while you're still living in Switzerland. And I know about your brother.
You leave my brother out of this.
I am attempting to sweeten the offer, as it were. One of the lingering, unpleasant effects of suicide is that the bereaved are often denied pension benefits. As poor Henry's last surviving relative, I imagine you have some substantial back pay due as well. The army is notoriously tight-fisted when it comes to such things, but I could certainly loosen their grip in this case.
Who are you?
I am Sherlock's brother. That is all with which you need to concern yourself. Now what say you to my offer?
Might I have some time to consider it?
Of course. But, Miss Watson, I do wish to make one thing clear. You'll be Sherlock's companion, but my employee. Is that understood?
It is.
Today is a good day. If you find her behavior peculiar now, wait until the battle. Good day, Miss Watson. I expect to hear from you soon.
Oh, Watson, you're just in time. Inspector Lestrade was just about to tell me who filed the motion to suppress the coroner's witnesses.
Chapman made the request himself.
Can you tell us who was on that witness list?
That would be defying the court, Miss Holmes. That's how these things work.
Yes, but surely...
Look, it doesn't matter who's on the witness list or not. The coroner's jury cannot indict Thomas Chapman for one simple reason. He did not kill Catherine Featherstone.
You sound very certain of that.
It was a very convincing alibi. He was making an arrest at the other end of the city at the time of Catherine's death. Aside from it being registered in the law book, there's also the fellow he arrested. As alibis go about as solid as they get. Just because he didn't kill Catherine Featherstone does not mean Thomas Chapman is not responsible for her death.
You have another suspect.
Edwin Greener.
Edwin Greener. Who is he?
Edwin Greener works for Chapman in an unofficial capacity. He was a soldier invalided during the last Afghan war. His time over there left him a bit. Well, you say you're a doctor. Perhaps you're familiar with it?
It's more common than you think.
He's had a hard time finding steady work. Got picked up once or twice for petty theft, assault.
Why do you think it was this Greener fellow?
He was there. He claims he happened to be walking through Hampstead Heath on his way home from a street cleaning job. He heard a shout, came running and found Catherine face down in the water. Greener says he tried to revive her after he pulled her out with no success, so he ran to flag down a policeman. The street cleaning job checks out, and again with Thomas Chapman, everything always does.
Clearly you have reason to doubt Edwin Greener's story.
I have dozens of reasons. Chapman makes no secret over his hold over Greener. What I don't have is the proof, and the coroner's jury was unable to find me. He's too careful. He's got a lot of friends at Scotland Yard, and no one who knows anything is not stupid enough to talk. One came to notice that he disappeared 3 days before he was supposed to testify. That's how Chapman deals with his obstacles.
Well, where do you suggest we begin?
We, Miss Holmes. I thought I made myself very clear about this.
That's not Sherlock. I'm sure Inspector Lestrade is very grateful for the opportunity to air his thoughts on the case.
Yes, right.
But now it's time to say goodnight, don't you think? But I just want to ask you about Inspector Lestrade. I'm sure Miss Holmes would appreciate being apprised of her progress if there is any.
Of course. Dr. Watson. Good evening to you too, Miss Holmes.
Good night, Inspector. Why did you do that? Because I wish to discuss your brother. I just met him on the street.
Oh, did he recite your entire biography back to you?
Yes. His knowledge of my personal history is as encyclopedic as it was unsettling. Who in the world is this person?
He claims to be merely a civil servant, but I assure you very little occurs on a national scale without his knowledge, if not his direct influence.
You understand what he wants from me? He asked me to spy on him.
Does this mean you're taking his spare room then?
That is not the point, Sherlock! Brothers do not normally bribe people to spy on their sisters for them.
No, but when the fate of an empire rests on one's shoulders, as is often the case with my plot, one can never be too careful.
So you're willing to accept this arrangement?
I am. Are you?
Yes.
Settled it. The only question now is where to pick up the thread of our investigation, since Inspector Lestrade was disappointingly commonplace in his willingness to accept our assistance.
He'll come around. Until then, I believe I have an idea.
You really wish to participate?
No. This enterprise is Foolish at best and dangerous at worst. But on one point I agree with you. If we do not help, who will? Oh! Now what on earth could that possibly be at this time of night? Really? First policeman come calling, now it's who knows what! His hands, forgive me, I take nowhere else to turn. Mrs. Chapman, is everything all right? You changed your shoes. Oh, it's horrible, just horrible! What is so horrible? Take a breath. Mrs. Chapman, tell us what's wrong with you. That poor old woman! What old woman? Something has happened to you, Dora Featherstone. Mrs. Featherstone! Mrs. Featherstone is dead! Oh my God. Shut up! Yes, Watson. The game is afoot.
I'll tell you the next part later. Oh.
How do you know Mrs. Featherstone is dead?
My husband told me.
And how did he know of it?
It's wrong to know, isn't it? I don't know. People knew she was his mother-in-law once. I imagine someone thought he'd want to know.
When did this happen?
Late last night, I gathered.
What do you think, Watson? She was an old woman in poor health. It could be a coincidence. Does that seem likely to you? A coincidence by definition is unlikely. Precisely, though I believe the coroner will draw the same conclusion as you. We must hurry. Mrs. Chapman, Dr. Watson and I have an errand to run. May I suggest you stay here until we return? Mrs. Hudson! Oh! We'll make sure you are... Of course. You've had quite a shock. Why don't you come along and I'll fetch you a nice cup of tea?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Miss Holmes.
What was your idea, Watson?
My what?
Before Mrs. Chapman arrived, you said you had an idea.
I was going to suggest we try and locate this Edmund Green affair.
Capital idea. We can do that on the way.
Where are we going now?
The scene of the crime.
Offering our condolences, so sorry for your loss, Reginald.
What now? At this time of... Well, what time is it?
We were just leaving. Can you tell us how your aunt passed?
Featherstone developed a keen aversion to water. She would only bathe with a damp towel. Nothing on earth would compel her to immerse herself in a bathtub.
So then, why would she have fallen in her bath?
Precisely. Mrs. Featherstone met her end in the drawing room, but was then moved to the bath to cover the crime. The senior self was then wiped clean to conceal any evidence.
Well, why aren't we sure it wasn't the nephew?
His fingernails. Whoever did this had a great deal of blood to clean up, not just from the fall, but from the person as well. Dear Reginald had not a spot on him, even though it's clear he hasn't bathed at all since we met him yesterday.
Too busy celebrating.
Indeed.
I doubt you were doing this. This is absurd.
So if it wasn't Reginald, then who do we have here?
I have no idea, Sherlock. We almost got arrested.
Well, it's not Mr.
Why
Featherstone.
would you change his mind?
Well, it wasn't Lestrade. He seems like a good guy. Do you agree?
I agree, but where did you suggest we go next?
That's a good question. Well, I suppose the next thing is to locate Edward Greener. Indeed.
Miss Holmes.
Hello, Mark. How is your son?
Safe in hand. Thanks to you, Miss Holmes.
Any news?
Amelia leaves from the White Hart and Bethnal Green for me to give this to you. Said she got it from a friend.
Thank you. Give my message to your son next you see him.
Bless you, Miss Holmes.
Who was that? Her name is Martha. I gathered that. Who is she? Well, I have a scruple. I call them my knitting circle. The name is meant to be ironic.
Obviously.
In the course of my work, I've won the favour of a number of women in all sorts of useful positions in London. Governesses, maidservants, washerwomen, barmaids, a useful network for gossip and information. It's how I keep myself informed. It's also how I knew when to expect Mrs. Chapman when she first called upon us. She'd been asking around, and word always gets back to me.
And you helped her son somehow.
Got him arrested, yes.
Arrested.
Best thing for him, I assure you.
Well, what did she tell you?
You've located Edward Greener.
Should I call the inspector?
This was your idea, Watson.
I only suggested we locate him. We should call the inspector.
To what end? He'll only try to talk us out of it.
Well, he may have a point. You are proposing we confront a known criminal and suspected murderer.
And?
And if Mrs. Featherstone's nephew had summoned the police, I could lose my medical license.
Yes, and I could be sent to an asylum.
Oh, this is dangerous, Sherlock. You must understand that.
Well, of course I do.
This is one of those common sense moments both you and your brother asked me to watch out for.
Are you coming with me or aren't you?
Well, of course I'm bloody coming with you. But, first, I need to make a stop at Baker's. Baker's 344. I left my bag. Come on.
Mrs. Hudson, you've been too kind to me.
Think nothing of it, dear. I may not approve of Miss Holmes's missus or whatever she calls it, but I've not once turned away a soul in Nick.
They've been gone so long. Do you have any idea when they'll be returning?
You would think she would tell me something like that, wouldn't you? I could be wrong.
Oh?
Mrs. Chapman, far be it from me to poke my nose in where it doesn't belong, but I really must say, back in my day, a young lady would never dream of asking questions about her husband behind his back.
Even if you knew him to be a criminal?
Especially if I knew him to be a criminal. Young people today have no sense of propriety. You want my advice? It is your duty to be the help to your husband, no matter what his profession may be.
Thank you, Mrs. Hudson. You are entirely correct, I'm sure.
Ah, here they are.
Mrs. Hudson!
All is well. We were just having a pleasant chat, Mrs. Chapman and I.
Miss Holmes, it was her, wasn't it? Mrs. Featherstone wrote the letter? It is our opinion that she did not. Not her. Not her. But who, then? We are pursuing another line of inquiry. Our Holmes.
Are you ready, Watson?
Fine, ready.
Good enough. Come along.
It's really bad to simply once you comprehend the mechanics of it. And cheaper laws like this one are so much easier. But what I'd really like to attempt is a bank vault. What are we looking for, Sherlock?
No idea. Try not to disturb anything.
Watson, how would you describe this room?
Tidy, organized, efficient. Not what one would expect given the neighborhood.
No, this is the room of a man who worked very hard at maintaining a normal life. Notice how the shirts are folded and the shoes arranged. Such care, military habits, I would assume.
Sherlock, look at this. How could he afford a typewriter?
This is it. Edwin Greener wrote the letter.
But why?
Hello there. Edwin Greener, I presume?
Then he must have gone another way.
No, I don't think so. We may want to consider some...
Who are you? What do you want from me?
Let her go!
Who sent you?
Drop the knife, Mr. Greener.
Who sent you?
Elizabeth Chapman sent us. We know you tried to warn her about her husband. We just want to ask you a few questions.
I don't hear what you're talking about.
We found your typewriter, Mr. Greener.
Did he send you? Or are you here to kill
I
me?
assure you we are not here to kill you, despite my associate's appearance to the contrary.
You're not here to kill me.
No, Mr. Greener.
Why not?
Watson, put your weapon away.
After him.
Do it. Please, do
Mr. Greener, if you do not drop your knife, I will fire my weapon again. At this range, I have a strong chance of striking your shoulder, armor, upper chest. The bullet will pierce your skin, tear through your soft tissue, and most likely impact against bone, breaking it. This will inhibit the use of your arm, possibly permanently. Removing the bullet fragments will be painful, much more so than actually being shot. You will not enjoy the treatment required, but unfortunately for you, you will receive it. And, as much as you may wish for it, the one thing it won't do is kill you.
Who are you?
We are friends of Elizabeth Chapman. She wants to know if there's any truth behind the letter you sent her.
It's true. I saw it.
You saw Thomas Chapman kill Captain Featherstone.
Oh, no. I didn't see that. But I know she didn't die no bathing pool head city.
How do you know that?
Because she was already dead when I put her there.
You put her there.
Yes. I was working for him. Small stuff. Collecting. Sometimes he had me rock someone up. That's it. But then, one day, he tells me to meet him at his house. Bring a wagon around the back. I'm not one pushing orders. I'll do as he says. We'll go through the door. He has me come through. That's when I saw.
It's all right, Edwin. That's when you saw.
Catherine. You had her all wrapped up in sheep. I mean, I couldn't be sure if it was her at first. But then he says, grab her feet. We'll grab her feet. We can take her out to the wagon. That's when he tells me what to do, where to go.
He didn't come with you.
No, he needed his alibi. He told me, oh, I need you now, and More than I ever have before. You do this job for me and you'll never want for nothing again. He went on his way. I went to Hampstead Heath. It's full dark. No one around. I took the sheet off, and that's when I saw her.
Did you notice any injuries?
Not injuries, no. But her face was purple, and her eyes were so red, they just stared at me. I was thinking, maybe it was an accident, right? But I knew it couldn't be. Tom wouldn't have me doing what I was doing for no accident.
Mr. Greener, you are an accomplice to a murder, though I believe an unwilling one. If you are willing to testify against Tom Chapman, I believe the court will be lenient towards you.
Testify against Tom? You don't understand. Nobody crosses Tom Chapman.
A moment ago you were willing to die, but now you're afraid. You were a soldier.
Have you seen what he's done to folks before he kills them? Have you seen what he's done to their families? You understand? If I wasn't a dead man before, I am now. Just a matter of time. He'll make sure I die screaming.
Mr. Greener, please put down the knife.
He'll kill Lizzie too, you know. But first, he'll kill you.
Edwin Dowat!
You shot me!
You are going to do worse to yourself.
I can't believe you really go. Oh, bloody hell, that hurts.
Go find Mrs. Chapman. I've got this. Are you certain? What if he tells someone that you shot him? I'll tell him he came at us with a knife. Go on. I'll drop him by the Royal Free and then meet you at Mrs. Chapman's. I'll be right behind you. Come on, Willie. Up we go. Oh, Miss Holmes, thank goodness. Oh, it's been dropping every sound since I got here. Completely understandable. Are you ready? Almost. I just need one or two more things from my dressing room. You must hurry. Dr. Watson is heading to our witness as we speak. Your what? Edwin Greener. Do you know him? He works for your husband. Yes, I know Edwin. Helps around the house now and then. He helped out in more ways than you know. Mrs. Chapman, it was Edwin Greener who sent you that letter. He didn't. It's true, and it will take some work, but I believe we can convince him to testify against your husband. Really? I don't know what to say. Think of something on the way. Quickly now. Oh my. Mrs. Chapman, is everything all right?
Miss Holmes, is it?
Stay away from me.
You're in my house, Miss Holmes. Bothering my wife.
She came to me. She asked for my help.
Did she now?
Look, my friends know where I am. If anything happens to me, you have a lot of questions to answer.
Your friends? Oh, you mean that woman, Doctor? What was her name? It was, Dorothy, something like that? She's got nothing to worry about. You're certainly safe here.
You'll let me leave, then?
Of course I will. Nevertheless, I believe your coach has arrived.
Mycroft.
It was bad enough when you set your sights on common reprobates. All it took was a few pounds slipped into a pocket to keep things manageable. But a detective of Scotland Yard?
Corrupt detective, a murderer.
Be silent, Sherlock! This goes far beyond anything I can possibly allow.
Sherlock Watson. What's happening here?
Oh, Miss Watson. Good. We're all here. I was just informing my sister that the scheme of yours has now ended.
Mycroft, how can you trust this man's word over mine?
What have we always said about sentimentality? I'm afraid you left me no choice. Gentlemen,
What is this?
I warned you it might come to this.
No, Mycroft, you can't be serious.
Come along, miss. Nice and quiet.
Mycroft, please, you can just send me to the country again.
Because that worked so well last time.
And you think the asylum will hold me better? You know I can walk out of there any time I want.
Not this time.
All right, miss. Here we go.
Careful there, Doctor.
No. Oh my God, Sherlock! The shoes. What was that? Such lovely shoes. Shoes? What shoes? Watson.
Right then, off we go.
Miss Watson, in terms of our arrangement, we're clear, were they not?
They were.
I thought it was understood that your main purpose was, to the best of your ability, to curb these adventures. Miss Watson!
You instructed me to act as Sherlock's common sense.
Those were my words, yes. You will understand, then, why I find you a material breach of our agreement. The invitation for you to take up residence at 221B Baker Street is rescinded. Is there anything you wish to say?
Would it make any difference if I
None
did?
at all.
Where are they taking Sherlock?
Bethlehem Royal Hospital. I've instructed the hospital to use the most modern chemical treatments available.
You'd make a subject of a laboratory experiment? That could destroy her!
I have been assured that the treatments are perfectly safe.
For her body, perhaps, but not for her mind.
Isn't that the point? Miss Watson, your responsibilities towards my sister have ended. I will not tolerate any further questioning regarding our care. I suggest you leave this place and forget you ever met Sherlock Holmes. I would hate for you to place your medical license in jeopardy simply because you could not believe well enough alone.
May I ask one question?
What?
How did you know?
How did I know what?
How did you know what Sherlock was doing? How did you find her?
How do you think? Inspector Chapman here found me and told me.
He found you. How is that possible? How would he even know what we were doing?
I can only assume Thomas Chapman is a very skilled detective. Good day, Miss Watson.
Dr. Watson. It's Dr. Watson.
Very skilled detective indeed. I thank you for your discretion in this matter.
Think nothing of it, Mr. Holmes. You have my... well, you have my sympathies. Poor troubled soul like that must cause no end of frustrations to a man such as yourself. A man who no doubt values his privacy.
Rather.
Were I in your position, that is to say, had I the means and the wherewithal, I might be tempted to take drastic measures.
Were you in my position?
Because I valued my privacy. As it were, it's just something to think about, Mr. Holmes.
Indeed. Good day, Inspector Chapman.
Oh, Lizzie!
Thank you. Leave us. Mr. Holmes left strict instructions to keep an eye on her at all times.
Miss Holmes is a witness in a criminal investigation. You will allow me to conduct my business, or you will be brought before a judge to explain your actions.
5 minutes.
Miss Holmes, can you hear me? I'm sorry it took you a few days to get here. Are they treating you all right? bastards.
Hello, Inspector. Are you unwell, Inspector? You are displaying some rather strange physiological reactions. Dilated pupils, increased respiration, perspiration around the brow and neckline indeed. You seem a trifle flushed. Watson, what's...
Dr. Watson's here. I'm sorry.
You are not what most consider an attractive man, are you? I'm asking for a friend.
What have they given you?
Thoughts are like swimming through treacle.
I honestly don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
Watson, where?
She's all right. She's overseeing the care of an injured who is recovering from a gunshot wound. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you?
Clean.
I'm sorry?
Very clean. Clean as a whistle. Are whistles particularly clean?
I haven't given you much thought.
This requires further investigation.
I don't like seeing you, Mistress Anderson. And I think the best way to steer your brother from this course is to discredit Inspector Chapman.
It's a good
I'm
plan.
afraid I'll need your help. The jury won't find Edwin Greener all that reliable. His testimony alone won't be enough. We still can't prove he was there when Catherine died. We don't know what happened to Eudora Featherstone. He's too smart for me.
Do you remember William Hamilton?
Who?
He fired a pistol at the Queen, got sent to Australia.
We were both small children that happened. What makes you think of it?
While he waited for his trial, a woman wrote letters to him. Her name was Irish. Something, yes. She fell in love with him, wanted to marry him.
Oh, did she?
No. Australia.
Yes, right.
She never met him. All that she knew about him was that he was a criminal and she loved him for it.
I don't think I understand.
It is a phenomenon. Someone should write a monograph on this.
I don't see how this helps us with Thomas Chapman.
It's not him.
What?
No, yes. You should tell her.
Tell her what?
Book, awful.
What book?
Dorothy Watson Graham. You must tell her.
Tell her what, Sherlock? I'm afraid I don't understand.
Such an idiot.
It's not the worst thing I've been called.
Not you. Wait.
Time's up. She's due for another round of treatment.
Wait, just one more minute, please.
Afraid not.
Did you just attempt to manhandle a police officer?
Apologies, sir. Just doing my job. We've got special instructions for this one.
You will treat her with respect, or I will know why.
You want to know why? It's Mr. Holmes.
Inspector. It's all right.
Miss Holmes.
It makes sense, you know. A man like that would want things kept clean. I'm ready to go now. Goodbye.
Bloody hell.
Okay, so back. Try to put a weight on it. All right, all set.
Dr. Anderson, how is our patient?
The operation was a success. I believe
should regain full use of his arm within 6 months. I cannot thank you enough for letting me hide you here. I know the risk you're taking, bringing him here like this. Risk? What risk? We have no patient by the name of Edwin Greener, only a Mr. Trevor Lord, brought to us after an unfortunate encounter with a meat hook while working in the stockyards. Keep these safe. Of course. When he's able to move, I'll see about getting him out of the city. I doubt Thomas Chapman will ever stop looking for him. Have you heard anything? I'm afraid not. The superintendent of Bedlam has made it quite clear that no information will be forthcoming. Thanks to Mycroft Holmes. Actually, I hadn't gotten so far as to name the patient. His response stated that Bedlam Royal Hospital would only provide access for real doctors. Falseness! Sorry. I would say as much the same. I don't know what to do. Well, there's always the common sense approach. If this Mycroft Holmes is as formidable as you say, it would be prudent to keep your head down for the time. Well, Sherlock sits in a cell being to God knows what sorts of treatments. No, I didn't think that option would appeal to you. Well, now that you've ruled out doing nothing, what are you prepared to do? Sherlock said something as they were taking her away, something about shoes. And what did she mean by that? I feel like I should know, like the answer is just out of reach. I can't do what she does. Then do what you do. Observe, diagnose, treat the problem. Observe, diagnose, treat the problem. You know, I followed the exploits of you Edinburgh ladies with great interest, and I remember it must have been your first year when the papers made a passing mention of a certain little row. Little row? You mean Surgeon's Hall? I heard there were nearly 300 people lined up in the streets just to stop 20 women from taking an exam. They waited until we were right at the gate, and then slammed it in our faces. They shouted horrible names, pelted us with refuse. Finally, one of the staff got us in through the side gate. We took that bloody exam, sitting there, covered in filth, the noise of the crowd outside the whole time. The Surgeon's Hall riot, they called it. I had never been so angry. There it is. Most people would have been terrified by such an ordeal, but not you. Do you recall the surgery performed the day Miss Holmes came to see me? The patient you lost? Mrs. Pertwee. None of us wanted to operate on that poor woman with an infection so advanced she was a lost cause, but you were determined to try. When you challenge properly, your anger can lead you to do great things. But I lost the patient! But you saved the next one! And with Miss Holmes by your side, I believe you'll save many more than that. Hello. Do what you do. Hello, Michael.
I hope I'm not interrupting anything.
No, not at all. I'm just stepping out. Good luck, Dr. Stafford. What can I do for you, Michael?
Well, I wondered if I might get your signature on something.
Found me out, did you?
Well, I'm ashamed to say that, no, I did not. After I finished it, I returned to Mother, wondering why she wanted me to read the thing. She told me. She claimed she knew it was you after the first chapter.
Your mother always was clever.
Not as clever as to write a novel. You wrote another one.
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it for a while.
Should you keep at it?
I might. I had considered about writing about my time in Edinburgh.
Medical school?
The Surgeon's Hall riot.
The surgeon... Oh, you mean that little row that was in the papers?
Little row. Right. Give me that book.
Why would you do that?
Because 2 weeks ago I saw you here reading that very book, and when I asked you what you thought of it, you called it rather silly stuff. If you had met the author for the first time today, you wouldn't have given it a second thought. So no, Michael, I will not sign your bloody book for you. If you want it so much, you can just dig it out of the trash.
Dr. Watson, Dr. Oh, have I happened to come at a bad time?
I believe you've come at a bad century. Dr. Stanford, this is Inspector Geoffrey Lestrade of Scotland Yard.
Inspector Lestrade, is it? Yes. I really don't mean to be rude, but I must speak with you now, Dr. Watson.
Oh, well,
Michael, would you mind waiting outside for me? Just for a minute?
Are you sure?
Just be a minute. Thank you. What can I do for you, Inspector?
Dr. Watson, you didn't happen to study in Switzerland, did you?
I did. I had to learn German for it. My final courses and certification took place in Bern.
While you were there, you didn't happen to meet the acquaintance of one Dr. Gottlieb Burkhardt.
Why?
So you heard.
I attended some of his lectures. His ideas of mental diseases and the role of functional regions of the brain are revolutionary. His ideas of how to treat them are terrifying. I got your answer, but why do you ask?
Sherlock's brother is seeking a consultation from him. He's developing a procedure called psychosurgery. I can't pretend to understand half of what's written on that paper, but from what I can tell, it sounds like something to be avoided at all costs.
Oh my God, Sherlock. We have to get her out of there.
We are neither of us who found her. If we could solve the case, we can prove she was in the right.
Case? What case? There is no case without Sherlock. There must be some way to see her.
I was only able to get a few minutes with her. They're giving her some sort of treatment that makes her practically incoherent.
Sorry to interrupt. What is it?
I have an idea, but we'll have to hurry. We can discuss it in the cab.
I should probably be leaving then.
Are you not coming with us?
Dr. Watson, I'm a police officer. The less I know about what you're thinking, the better. Besides, if you're successful, things will start to happen very quickly. The best thing for me to do right now is to find out where Thomas Chapman is and not let him out of my sight. How is Edmund Bruno?
He'll keep his arm. Can you keep him safe?
I'm doing all I can. I find more protection for him, but I don't have that many friends at Scotland Yard. I don't know who I can trust.
And what of Elizabeth Chapman?
There's been no sign of her. And her husband hasn't reported her missing, and it's too soon for anyone else to do so.
Bloody hell.
We should both hurry.
Be careful, Inspector.
You too, Dr. Watson. Good luck.
What is going on?
Michael, dear friend, I must ask of you an enormous favor.
Oh?
Yes. How was your journey?
My what?
Superintendent!
What is it?
He's here.
Who is here?
The doctor from Bern. Dr. Burkhardt?
Already? Well, that's not possible!
He said he's here to see Miss Holmes on instructions from her brother.
Well, bring him in, damn you! Willkommen, Dr. Burkhardt. I must say this is quite an honor. I'm sorry if you seem a little disorganized. I wasn't expecting you for a few more weeks.
Sagt, dass ganz beter wird, Sie zu kennenlernen. Aber hat gesagt, dass Sie später ankommen würden.
Ich weiß, was sagt. Ich spreche eigentlich, du weißt.
Nein, du sprichst es nicht. Erinnerst du dich? Deshalb übersetze ich.
Oh, richtig, Entschuldigung. Sage mich Mutter, Fräulein Holmes, sofort sehen.
The doctor will examine the patient immediately.
Yes, of course. Doctor, I've had the privilege of reading some translations of some of your monographs on psychosurgery, and I was wondering if I might have the privilege to pick your brain, as it were.
Will dir deine Gedanken von Gehirnchirurgie stellen.
Was für Gedanken? Ich weiß nichts von Gehirnchirurgie.
He says he will be happy to discuss his ideas with you at your earliest convenience.
Exactly nichts davon!
But he wishes to conduct a preliminary interview with the patient first.
Ich bin mir nicht sicher, dass dieses Actionprogramm so gesund war.
Für mich und alles wird gut.
Here we are. As you can see, we've been administering a carefully monitored chemical cosh without this one is prone to violent outbursts. She does not respond well to physical contact without permission, but the current treatment has kept her acceptably docile.
Ich sage, dass du die Patientin allein untersuchen möchtest.
Oh, hello. Are we speaking German now?
Ja, ich möchte die Patientin privat untersuchen.
The doctor will examine the patient privately.
Oh, I'm sorry, but it is hospital policy that a member of staff be present for all visiting consultations.
Sag's jetzt.
Stellen Sie meine Tunnelfrage. Wissen Sie nicht, mit wem Sie sprechen? Sie fragen mir, wo die Schule wie ich mit meinem Patienten interview. Was soll ich bin doch nicht so beleidigt worden!
No, that's I'm sure you
I say that is quite good, wasn't it?
Sherlock, can you hear me?
Ha! I knew it was you.
Can you stand, Sherlock? We have to hurry.
Who is your friend? His language tutor was Austrian. Did you know he's never been to a German-speaking country in his life?
How did she know
Your
that?
accent is much better, Watson. Always helps to learn a language in country.
The coast is clear.
It's time to go, Sherlock.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Good evening, ladies.
Good evening.
I want to watch it. Oh no. No, 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 no!
Pardon the intrusion, Mr. Green. I need to make use of your room.
You're right.
I don't understand. We snuck out of one hospital so we could sneak her into another.
I couldn't very well take her back to Baker Street, and I don't know of any other safe places in the city. It's not that safe. It won't take long to figure out what's you, and once they do, this will be the first place they look. Well, we don't have to stay long. Sherlock just needs to rest for a few hours, and then we'll figure out what to do next.
Whose room is this anyway?
It's mine, sir.
Dr. Stanford, this is Edwin Greener. Edwin Greener, Dr. Stanford.
How do you do?
Oh. Pardon the intrusion, Mr. Greener, but Sherlock isn't well, and we need a place for her to rest a bit. I thought since you were on your feet, you wouldn't mind.
It's not a problem, Dr. Watson. She'll be safe either on.
Thank you. How's the pain?
Still plenty of it. But they tell me it'll go away soon enough. I'll be able to use my arm again to go to sleep. Thanks to you and Dr. Anderson.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. Well, I have to get back. Let me know if you need anything. Otherwise, I have no idea who any of you people are, nor what you were doing in my hospital. Good night.
Looks like quite the injury got there. Mind if I ask what happened?
Dr. Watson shot me.
She what?
Shot me right here in the shoulder. It's an eye-opening experience. I don't mind telling you.
Yes, I suppose it would be.
Well, I was in a bad place. I was getting ready to take some drastic steps. Dr. Watson got my head facing the right way again.
By shooting you.
That's enough, Edwin. I think Dr. Stanford has had enough excitement for one day. Michael, I cannot thank you enough. You really were magnificent today. I only hope this doesn't cause too much trouble for you.
I don't see how it could.
I really have no idea what is going on.
Yes, I know, and I'm sorry about that. I hope I'll get a chance to explain it all soon.
But I must say, they certainly paint you in a very different light.
Paint me how you like, Michael. I am what I am. I suppose this isn't quite what you had in mind when you asked me to marry.
You certainly have given me a lot to think about.
You deserve someone who wants the same things you want. And frankly, so do I.
And what do you want, Dorothy?
Right now, I want to see this business through to the end. I really can't worry about anything past that.
Is there anything else I can do to help?
Oh, certainly not. You've risked far more than I ever could have asked you as it is.
Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. I wish you nothing but the best of this, honestly. But if you've a mind to recruit friends for further adventures, I'd appreciate if you'd leave me out of it.
I understand.
Good luck, Dorothy. Good night.
Good night, Michael. Give my love to your mother.
Does this mean you're taking the spare room again?
Sherlock, how do you feel?
Really, truly terrible. My arm's buried under bags of sap.
It's the sedative they gave you. It will wear off soon, but you'll feel dreadful for a while after.
Where are we?
The Royal Free Hospital. Mr. Greener has been convalescing here under an assumed name. He's feeling better now and was willing to share his room for a few hours.
Thank you for your hospitality, Mr. Greener.
Think nothing of it, Miss Holmes. Anything getting?
How on earth did we get here?
Dr. Stanford and I broke you out.
Something about speaking bad German. Whatever induced you to take such a risk?
Inspector Lestrade showed you a file. I know what it means to receive a consultation from Dr. Gottlieb Burkhardt. I couldn't let such a thing happen to my friend.
Your friend? I'm so pleased.
Sherlock, you need to rest.
But weren't you afraid they'd recognize you?
Not really. When they came to take you away, there was too much excitement for them to get a good look at me. And when we came to get you, I pretended to be a German interpreter.
Lovely, Watson. So clever.
We don't have much time now. We have to keep moving.
No, let's not do that.
I'm sorry? May I remind you that we have both Thomas Chapman and your brother looking for us? Frankly, I don't know which possibility scares me more.
Oh, Mycroft is infinitely more terrifying. Thomas Chapman can have you murdered, but Mycroft can fix it so you never were born.
Well, neither of those options are particularly appealing.
No, but they're the best we can hope for, unless we end this tonight.
And how do you propose we do that?
We make it known that Edwin Greener can be found at the Royal Free Hospital.
Are you suggesting we use Edwin as bait?
Yes, precisely.
Sherlock, he trusts us. You cannot ask him to risk his life for us like this.
It's all right for me.
Edwin, you don't have to do this.
No, I think I do, actually. I've got some maternity to do. Might as well start now.
I can assure you both, Mr. Green will be perfectly safe. But first, Watson, I need you to find Miss Sarah Price. She's a housekeeper in Paddington.
Someone from your knitting circle.
She will know how to get the word out to Edwin Greener being here. Tell her it comes from me. Do we know where Inspector Lestrade is?
He's looking for Thomas Chapman.
Find him if you can and bring him here. We'll need him eventually.
What will you do?
I will be here, waiting. Don't worry, I've got Mr. Greener to take care of me.
Neither of you are in any commission for a confrontation.
The sooner you find Inspector Lestrade, the less we'll have to worry about that. Now go!
Are you here? I got your message. I came as soon as I could. Look, there's nothing to worry about, right? It's just my wife. She gets these ideas. Just tell the prophet. Oh, it's you. I've kept things moving. I cleared the way for you lot. You should be thanking me. I mean, so what? My name shows up in the papers from time to time. That's on me, right? But I can tone it down. You'll see, it never goes past me. Just let me get through this Sherlock Holmes business. And we'll be back to business as usual. Right? You've got my word. No, wait!
Hello, Mrs. Chapman. What are you doing here? Where is Mr. Greenup? He's safe. I thought they locked you up. How did you get out? Friends, in luck. You seem quite agitated, Mrs. Chapman. Is there something wrong? I'm fine. Are you sure? Where's your husband? I don't know. You tell me. No. I haven't seen him since this morning. It's not like him. You tell me where he is. You know something. I can tell that you do. But it doesn't matter. No one can catch my Tom. We shall see. Do you want to tell me what brings you here tonight? No? Suit yourself. I believe I have all the relevant facts, but perhaps you can fill me in on a few details. And why should I do that? I thought perhaps we could help each other. You'll tell me where Tom is if I answer your stupid questions. All right, Rick. What do you want to know? When did you first meet Thomas Chapman? The day I started working as his housekeeper. It was his wife at the time, Margaret, who actually hired me. And did you know him before you went to work for him? Oh, I know him, yes. Seen his name in the papers. They said some awful things about him. They don't know him, I've got to. We have a special connection. Tom and me always have. And it was the day I read about him before we ever met. But what about Catherine? I know what Tom needs. I can take care of him when no one else can, even when he can't take care of himself. Miss Eudora Featherstone, was that something Tom needed? That was something of a mistake. She was a poor, mad old woman. Everyone knew she talked nonsense. Still, it pays to be careful. She didn't talk just nonsense. She was sharp that one. And then when that letter turned up... You said she didn't write special letters. We know that now, don't we? Because I said it was a mistake. And I suppose you showed up with the news of her death to cover your crimes. Very, very interesting. And then that was Tom's idea. I imagine he must have been rather cross with you. The timing looked awfully suspicious. He told you to stick with us and find out who'd been talking to me. Did he also tell you to make it look like Mrs. Featherstone fell in her bath? Your husband did you a disservice there. Mrs. Featherstone was afraid of bats. Wouldn't go near them. It was a dead giveaway. But rinsing the floor again was a nice touch. Not many would have noticed you'd rinsed the floor that had just been cleaned hours earlier. You are so clever, Miss Holmes. I just wanted to know who wrote that bloody letter. Why did you have to get so involved? It was clear you were hiding something from the moment you entered my sitting room. How could I resist? Of course, I never suspected what I'd find. That's an interesting skill you have. And what's that? You're good at being underestimated. Aren't we all, Miss Holmes? Perhaps we are. Shall I tell you what gave you away to his shoes? You recall that I pointed them out when we first met, and when you showed up at Baker Street with the news of Mrs. Featherstone's death, you recall I observed you had changed them out for another pair. And then when I found them in your bag, be quiet, Dowat is terrible. Be quiet! I am sorry for you, Mrs. Chapman. Your husband has led you down a dark path. Led me. Led me. I bit that old woman's brains out with a paperweight! such things.
My husband sees me for what I really am.
And what are you, Mrs. Chapman?
I'm his partner. His equal. Is there a man you can say that about, Miss Holmes?
No, never.
No, I think it's time that you answer my questions. Where is Tom? You want to play fair with me, Miss Holmes? Tom told me what they did to you in Bedlam. Sounds awful. I understand it takes a while for that stuff to wear off. I imagine you must be feeling pretty rough right now. You know, I worried that we wouldn't have enough for Mr. Green. There's more that's up here for you. This will go easier for you if you don't fight. Something funny.
Just recalling how many times I've heard that exact sentiment before. Don't fight. Tell me, Mrs. Chapman, do I look like the kind of woman who has ever heeded such advice?
Put it down, Mrs. Chapman.
Watson, I told you to wait for the signal.
Sherlock, you'd already confessed. What else were you waiting?
Waiting for the right amount of dramatic. Never mind, you're right. Inspector Strong, you've heard enough.
Yes, quite. Elizabeth Chapman, I am placing you under arrest.
You sure you want to do that, Inspector? My Tom has just been waiting for a reason to come after you.
Not this time, I'm afraid. Mrs. Chapman, it is my sad duty to inform you that your husband's body was found this evening after sunset.
You're lying. He's lying. You think Miss Holmes?
I'm sorry for your loss, Mrs. Chapman.
Go on, Mrs. Chapman. Good night, Dr. Watson. Miss Holmes.
Good night, Inspector. Goodbye, Mrs. Chapman.
This is a trick. This is a trick, isn't it, Miss Holmes? Nothing can happen to my Tom. He's mine. It isn't true. No, it isn't true.
Poor woman.
Are you all right, Sherlock?
I'm almost my old self again. Shall we head back to Baker Street?
Are you sure it's safe? What about your brother?
With you by my side, Watson, there is nothing I cannot face. Let us go speak to Mycroft together then, shall we? Were we?
Ladies?
Mycroft.
He's been waiting all night, dear.
Mrs. Hudson, would you give me a moment alone with my sister and Dr. Watson, please?
Of course. I'll just make everyone a nice cup of tea.
That is a woman who understands the restorative power of tea.
Mycroft.
Sherlock.
Oh, bloody hell, somebody say something! Dr. Gottlieb Burke!
You were never in any real danger!
Oh, really? We never tempted you up. Killed two birds, as it were.
Tempted, yes. But I found Dr. Burkhart's methods distasteful.
What are you two talking about?
Someone told Thomas Chapman about Mycroft and his relation to me. Mycroft then pretended to entertain Thomas's idea of subjecting me to psychosurgery in hopes of drawing out information on this mysterious informant.
You had your own sister committed to Bedlam and subjected to chemical treatments as a ploy to protect your own privacy.
You will not judge me.
Have you found out any information then on this informant?
I have not. However, the search of the Chapman's home revealed a ledger which recorded payments both incoming and outgoing. Some of the payments were easy to trace, payouts, bribes, and whatnot. However, a significant percentage of Chapman's illicit income was going to a single party.
He was paying someone higher up. Who is it?
I don't know.
You're telling me that a criminal organization as sizable as Thomas Chapman's was actually part of a larger organization run by an individual or individuals who know all about you, but about whom you know nothing. This is extraordinary.
Sherlock, in the time I've been in the employment of the Crown, how often have you witnessed me know that I did not know anything?
This would be the first.
Yes. So, I hope you'll appreciate the gravity of the situation.
And Thomas Chapman?
His body was found with a throat slit.
He killed himself.
No, it was most certainly not a suicide. Now, if you'll excuse me...
One moment, Mycroft. There's still the matter of your apology.
My apology?
You don't know what it was like. Mycroft, it was unjust of you, but I know how you can attempt to make it out to me.
Oh?
You will resume your arrangement with Dr. Watson. She shall stay here at Baker Street as my trusted companion and your trusted informant.
Trusted? At the little German ruse?
I don't want a war, Mycroft. You owe me this.
Very well. Will I be seeing you on Sunday?
Yes, I will not miss it. We play chess and then eat dinner together every Sunday.
That sounds surprisingly normal.
I will see you then. Good day, Mycroft.
What on earth just happened?
There's a few more moves in the great game.
You're not going to forgive him, are you? Just like that?
Just like that? No. I think not. We have rules about sentimentality, Mycroft and I.
Besides, we have a bigger puzzle to solve. What do you mean?
You heard my brother. Thomas Chapman is merely a puppet. Someone must be out there pulling the strings.
Well, I doubt your brother would want us poking around with something like that.
On the contrary, he would not have mentioned it otherwise.
What was we supposed to do?
Use our resources, gather information. We have advantages as regular agents do not.
Such as?
We are underestimated.
Well, what about your clients? So many women out there need your help.
Indeed, I've not forgotten them. I believe our surest way into this puzzle is by doubling our efforts. We have a great deal of work ahead of us.
Are you sure you're all right, Sherlock? Some of those chemicals have lingering after effects.
I'll be all right. It turns out I share a flat with a doctor.
Yes, I suppose you do.
There are some things we should discuss, I suppose. For instance, the pistol you carry. It was your brother's, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it was his service revolver. I started carrying it with me after some rather unpleasant encounters in Edinburgh. In odd choice for a memento, I suppose, but I'd rather like to think it's his way of looking after me while he's gone. Does that make sense?
No, not at all. But I trust you. There is one thing you should know.
Yes?
Sherlock. My father used to call me it when I was very young. It means bright hair in Old English. My real name is Wilhelmina.
Oh, that's lovely.
I'm glad you think so. Please don't ever call me right.
Of course.
It's time to get back to work. Are you ready, Watson?
I am.
Then let's begin, shall we?
Mrs. Hunt!